What is going on, everybody? Man Cave Sports, Mike here. Not at the Man Cave. I'm in beautiful Fort Myers, Florida. Uh, Relaxing, having a good time. Still taking in my sports. Saw the Twins last night, so appreciative for the time with my family and even some friends we're out here with. But we are back with an edition of Puck Wild. It's been a few weeks. I know we had the All-Star break, a couple other things, schedules, etc., but we are back and we are ready to talk Minnesota Wild. So got my trusted confidants here, Mr. E Naughty, Mr. Steve. So we will talk a little bit about some of the things that have taken place the last couple weeks, but also looking towards the stretch run of this season. So with that, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Steve. I know the Avalanche are about as much of a rival as the Wild have. Talk about their win over them and just the rivalry and some of that just to get us back up to speed on talking Wild.
Yeah, seriously, ever since the Blackhawks fell off, the Avs kind of became like enemy number one for me. Once it used to be the Blackhawks, but once they crapped out, then it was Avs. Winnipeg a little bit, when they had Buffalo and whatnot. But no, I can't stand the Avs. I just, their whole shtick kind of bothers me. But yeah, that the win this week against them was really. It was gritty. It was a gritty, gutty win, and I loved seeing it. A lot of good individual play. I put that online on the old Twitter machine, but Moose Foligno, he was out there. He had a couple shifts where he was just like a human wrecking ball. He was hitting people. He was, chasing down loose pucks, just causing havoc. And like I said online, I was like, I don't know who I like more, him or Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck used to be the same way, just go and just destroy somebody against the glass. It was amazing, and Moose is always going to give you 100%, always going to leave his guts on the ice. And I think in this game it was huge. Him coming out, he had a couple of shifts, especially in the third there, where he just went crazy, and he'd have about 60 seconds of chaos that he caused in the offensive zone, hitting guys, chasing pucks on the forecheck. It was nice to see. And then Spurgeon, that guy, I don't know, we got to like buy him a Kevlar bodysuit because he just blocks shots all day. He's like a magnet for the puck, right? You shoot that puck and it like literally it like curves around and finds his shin or his abdomen or something. He blocks pucks like a madman. And that's really, that was really the key to that game is, because the Avalanche can get out and score on they can take off. They're known for being a tough team, but speed, and right now with so many injuries that we have, it's something that we have to do. We have to win it the way that we win it. Bring it, run it into the shootout, and then some nifty, nasty, dangly mitts there by Boldy to ice this thing. So I loved it. It was great. Gus finally got, I think, what he needed as far as the support in front of him. Yeah, maybe we weren't, we didn't put up a lot of, we didn't put a lot in the back of the net there, but we did have enough offensive zone time pressure to alleviate some of the pressure on Gus. So I think that really helped out, so that he wasn't getting peppered, because Gus has got a tendency, you start drilling him a little bit and he'll get frustrated and he'll walk. So, no, this was a good one to see. The fact that they did it against the Avs, beautiful. Loved it. Would have liked to see us, not give them any points, but still a W is a W. Naughty.
Yeah, man. Right now with our injury situation, it was a tough watch for me. They're better at every position than us right now. I mean, sometimes when Bowley or Faber's out there, it still doesn't matter. They got just a stack lineup. I'm not a fan of the Avs. I remember the Bruno goal. I thought that was amazing against Wa. But it seems like that game, watching it, it's like for 75% of the time, the Avs had the puck in our zone, and seriously, they're outplaying us at. And Hines' system is he's not letting them get good shots either. He's keeping them on the perimeter. It just they were scrappy. just they hang around, they scratch and claw, and hell of a win. And it's their second one in a row. We actually kind of dominated them about 3 weeks back for Rip. But you got to love it. You got to love it, Michael.
Yeah, no. The success continues, and we talked about this prior to our hiatus here a few weeks ago about how they are continuing success with the injuries, and I'm not sure what Kaprizov's status is as of late. It doesn't seem
As stated.
no, hopefully promising. So I mean, and I can start with you on this one, Brian. Talk about the injuries and how we're still continuing to win games, regardless of the fact that it hasn't been a healthy season.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on what I just said. I think it's, I think John Hines is the reason we're where we're at right now. He's not playing like Jacques Lemaire. I mean, he's not playing like that. Meet at the red line. I'm not letting you go anywhere. It's the system. I think he's like just been the key on that. But on the injuries, we had an opportunity to put Brodin or Kirill or Eck on long-term IR, which would mean they'd be done for the whole season. Yeah. And then they can come back for the playoffs without any salary cap problems with it, like Kucherov did with whatchamacallit the other year. It's kind of weird that Billy didn't use that and we'd save salary cap. I mean, I think that Marat, Hust, and Lauko trade, I think that had to do with something of the salary cap. And I think the reason why they made that trade is because Eck is a little bit more banged up than he usually is. He's the guy that's in front of the net. He's the guy that's doing that net. We got that guy. It's basically it. Mr. Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to echo surprisingly a lot of what you're saying here, Nani. I mean, Hines is really, I mean, he's got him tight. He knows that we're limited offensively, with Eck and Kaprizov out, you're dropping about 50 goals roughly right there. You've got 50, 60 points that you're losing out of your squad with those two being down. So they got to do what they got to do. I think sometimes it is a boring brand of hockey to watch, but they've got to do what they've got to do. And I think the one thing that's nice though is that he's allowing them freedom that when they get a chance to break out and go nuts, he lets them. Right. And we've seen like the other night when they won 4-3, when we were running up against the Kraken from Seattle, they were buzzing a little bit and he kind of let them go. He just kind of let them play. So I think he's one of these guys that, hey, defense and protecting our goalie is number one. But if you get a chance and you're confident at it, you see that you get that green light to go, but they're not going to let they're not going to risk, odd man rushes and stuff like that because we just don't have, we don't have the firepower to keep up. If we give up one goal and that could be the difference in the game, we give up a fluke. So no, I think Hines is doing a good job. I think, with X injury and Kaprizov, I don't know, are they going to come back in April before the playoffs? I have no idea. I'm not, they've got it, but I think they got to learn how to do this brand of hockey right now if they're going to have a chance to make it out in the first round of the playoffs, especially if we're still stuck in the wild card. So keep mucking it up. You've got some all-star defenders, in my opinion, with Spurgeon and Faber and Middleton, and you've got some guys that can really do a good job back in the blue line. Let them be your strength. And if that's your strength, if defense is your strength, is own it and take your shots when you can. So I know it's a little bit mucky and dirty, but it's a formula. It's working right now. If you got to take them to shootouts, so be it. We got to take them to 3-on-3. That's fine. Let's go.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to echo you, and I can't believe I'm agreeing with you. Watching this team without all our guys out there, if we score 3 goals, we're going to win that game 90% of the time. That's just kind of how it's got to be done. Mike?
Yeah, and Steve, you talked about getting out of the wild card spot. I believe they're 3 points behind the Avs for that to get out of the wild card with, I believe, 15 or 16 games. I think 15 for the Wild, if I'm not mistaken.
Or wait, yeah, it's either 15 or 17, something like that. Yeah,
games. My bad. 17 games. A 3-point deficit in 17 games is not hard to make up. What do the Wild need to do over these next 17 to overtake the Avalanche? And, give themselves a better chance in the postseason.
I think, looking ahead at their schedule, we've got the majority of the games, on paper, we should be favored, right? We've got better records. We've got more points. We've got, better teams. We should be favored, especially in April. April, we need to go like if we can go 6-1 or 5-2 in April, we got 7 games left there. We should win all of them, but we've got one against the Stars in there. The end of March, though, that's going to be dicey. So, I mean, it's really, I think the end of March, those last 5 games, we're playing teams that, you got some 40 game winners in there. You've got the Devils on a back-to-back. You've got the Stars. You've got the Knights. So you've got some teams that you've got to, the last 5 games of March here that are going to really tell us what we need to do in April. So if in March end of March, if we can take 2 or 3 out of that kind of that last rough stretch, I think we're going to be in good shape in April, and that gives us a little bit more breathing room, gives us a chance to maybe rest some guys going into the playoffs, or springboard us into the ability to overtake the Avs and get out of that wild card slot, so we got a little bit easier first round. But I think the last 5 games, the end of March, is really going to make the determination, because then you go from the last 7 games where, 6 of them you're favored to win. A couple of them shouldn't be, you're talking about teams that haven't even won 20 games this year yet. So you should be able to skate through that. But that last 5 game in March, if we go 1-4, we go, or 0-5, now all 7 of those games become a must win, because, Calgary is 7 points behind us, but we have one bad stretch and they get hot for 3-4 games in a row. That can make a big difference in being able to overtake us and actually bounce us. So that last 5 games for me in March is really going to make the difference. What do you got, sir?
Well, the question, I mean, after that long deal, I already forgot the question, but I believe it is, how do we get out of the wild card spot? You know what? I'm not even worried about that. The 3 teams ahead of us, Dallas, Winnipeg, the Avalanche, they're a better team than us right now, especially without Ecker, Thrill, and Brodin. We might be getting Zeev Bulliam out of Colorado. College hockey ends in 2 weeks. But the thing I'm worried about, like you mentioned Calgary, you mentioned the Blues, even the Canucks. Thank gosh we started so damn hot. I mean, thank gosh. I'm not even worried about those 3 teams ahead of us. I'm worried about those 3 teams behind us. And I mean, the simple answer, how do we overtake the Avs? We got to stack fucking points. That's it. But I'm worried about the guys behind us. Michael.
So Brian's not looking ahead. He's looking behind him.
Yes, I am.
Depending upon what's passing you, I've been guilty of that myself. So last but not least, to conclude this episode of Puck Wild, is it Brazeau? Brazeau we just traded for, right?
Brazeau.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talk about that trade. Obviously I'm a bit, I depend on you guys for this, but was that a good deal for us? By all accounts, from what I'm seeing, some people think so, but I'll let you guys break it down. I'll start out with you, Mr. Steve.
I didn't really like it. I mean, I get it. It's in some ways it's a bit of a rental. It's a poor man's Erickson. Like, you went on wish.com and ordered the guy. He's known to be one of the slowest skaters in hockey. So, I mean, he's not going to dazzle you with his speed, but he's 6'6" and a big dude in front of the net. And that's kind of what they want. They want that in front presence. I just did the only thing I didn't, and I get it salary cap wise, and he's a free agent at the end of the year, so we can dump him. But, I just didn't like getting rid of Kustadinov like that. I think Kustadinov, buddies with Kaprizov, makes him happy to have his buddy around, but he's got upside potential, and yeah, he hasn't shown it yet, but I don't know. I think they gave up on that kid a little too early. Lauko is always hurt, so I get it. I mean, he's a decent player, but injured a lot. But Kustadinov, I didn't like that we got rid of him. I thought that kid could have had, give him a little bit more time to mature and, develop some skills. Because he's a good skater. I mean, he's fast, but I don't know. It's kind of a mad trade, but I wasn't really a fan of it. I didn't like getting rid of Kustadinov. Not in what's your thoughts, bud?
I've listened to a couple of interviews with Billy G, and as you guys know, I'm a Billy G guy, and he can get a little spicy and he can get a little short. He was asked about the trade, and everybody's been bitching about it. I like Hoosty, man. He's started getting confident in that fourth line. At sometimes within the last 2 months, has been the best line on the ice, and he's getting a little bit more confident. It's kind of like Rossi when he came out. He kind of had the deer in the headlights, and until he finally buckled down, it seemed like Hoosty was getting it. But as I said, I was listening to a couple Billy G things, and I think it was Russo that was asking him straight up, seems like a weird trade. Billy basically just said, nobody knows these guys better than I do. And, and Billy G, I trust. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. It's his team. One thing that makes me weird about getting this guy that's in front of the net, it's one thing we're missing without Ewell. Hopefully that injury isn't so bad, and it's got to be a salary cap thing. You just got to make it do. But the one thing I'm worried about, that in front of the net presence, why did we have to go get one, especially if he's an unrestricted free agent? So I'm hoping that doesn't mean anything's bad with Eckert, But Michael, go ahead.
All right. No, you guys summed it up very well. That's why I rely on you, the wild experts here at the Man Cave. So I say that loosely. But that will conclude this week's edition of Puck Wild. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And we will be back next week, hopefully with some of our other esteemed colleagues, as B Naughty likes to say about the men at the Man Cave.
No, only Razor Ramon. He's my esteemed guy.
Okay. Some of the other hacks.
Yeah, don't flatter yourself.
Yeah, okay. Some of the other hacks here at Man Cave Sports. But gentlemen, appreciate it. And we will see everybody next week.
Later.